Will Los Angeles become the next Detroit as film industry insiders sound the alarm as production plummets? If you watch any number of podcasts, you'll see celebrities and famous people and directors talking about all the locations that they're filming in now that they didn't used to. Ireland being a good example. You've got all these random places that have really ramped up their incentives for Hollywood to make films there, for film crews to film there. Los Angeles, not so much. The liberal utopia of Los Angeles has basically made it so expensive that they've pushed the industry out of their hometown. You know, the Hollywood Tinseltown, whatever you want to call it, is no longer going to be the place where people are making movies. Let's get into it. Here we go.
Blockbusters of 2025 mostly shot overseas. In many cases,
Czech Republic
cuts multiple strikes domestically, and what some describe as a California tax incentive that's no longer competitive, taking Hollywood elsewhere.
I have seen people make comparisons of Los Angeles to Detroit prior to the plight of the auto industry, and I have heard people say that we are in an existential moment.
Film LA, an organization tracking the decline, found that 2024 was the worst year for the industry in Los Angeles, only second to 2020 during the pandemic.
So far, year to date this year, we're coming in below that. We posted a 22.4% decline in on-location filming for the first quarter of this year.
Many films, TV shows, commercials, not only going overseas, but also shot in states like Georgia, Texas, or Tennessee instead of California.
Everywhere I go, it feels like a ghost town. And what's happening is there are the days where we'd work, 5 days a week have become 3 days.
This is interesting.
Have become 2 days a week, have become 1 day every 2 weeks.
Thousands of supporting roles impacted too.
How's work been over the last year?
It's not been good. For the past 18 months, I've worked 3 months.
Shooting, editing, makeup, costumes, the list is long. And while some can travel with production, others based here can't, including Wes Bailey's studio services company, Surreal.
Had to lay people off, had to downsize everywhere. People are doing 2 and 3 jobs, having to try and just to try and keep us, solvent.
Business, he says, is down about 40% over the last 2 years.
The vast majority of our industry is a blue collar and middle class labor force. It's a lot of really good jobs that have benefits when we have the work here. These are not people that can just, jet off to anywhere.
To try to get the jobs back to LA, Governor Gavin Newsom proposed a $750 million a year tax credit program.
Ain't gonna do it.
Companion bills making their way through the California legislature, also hoping to increase the state's tax credit program. If passed, experts say it may work.
About the money in terms of this, because that is what drives the production costs up. If you have to shoot somewhere else other than LA to keep your profitability up and your costs down,
there's hope that Hollywood won't be a sequel of America's Rust Belt.
I do see us pulling together and seeing us as, as Angelinos, we have to pull together and draw this work here.
But right now, fears of a flop hitting Tinseltown.
Let me tell you, folks, there's something that absolutely drives me crazy, and that's data brokers. These companies are out there collecting your personal information, your address, phone number, email, and selling it to the highest bidder without your consent. And believe me, they're making a killing off of it. Ever wonder why you get bombarded with spam calls and texts? It's because some data broker sold your number to a marketing agency, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. These brokers are also posting your personal information, like your home address, on people search sites. That means anyone, whether it's a scammer, a nosy neighbor, or someone you'd rather avoid, they can find it. That's where Incogni steps in. Incogni doesn't just remove your data from these brokers, it keeps it off. I've used it myself, and let me tell you, it's a relief knowing my information isn't floating around online for anyone to grab. As someone who puts my opinions out there publicly, I know how important it is to protect my privacy. And honestly, it should matter to you. Incogni makes it easy, and right now they're offering a great deal. Head to incogni.com/reasonable and use code REASONABLE for 60% off their annual plan. That's a steal to keep your private information private. Don't wait on this. Your personal data is too important to leave exposed. Again, go to incogni.com/reasonable, use the code, and take back your privacy today. I don't think this is turning around anytime soon. It's just not, because it's based on economics. And economics take a long, long time to change. How long has the industry been struggled, and, the tax incentives have been kind of left behind because, it's LA. Where else are they going to shoot? Well, Czechoslovakia, the UK, Ireland, Tennessee, Texas, Florida, lots of other options. You've got lots of other cities and lots of other states that want that big money, and it's become competitive. Los Angeles is just it's gotten used to the fact that we just make all the movies here, make all the commercials here. And that's simply not true. And because of policies that have disincentivized people from from doing business in California in general. This isn't just the movie making industry. This isn't just Hollywood. This is business in general in California. Sacramento lawmakers in both houses are considering legislation this week aimed at improving tax incentives for film and television production. It's going to have to be big. It's going to have to be bigger than what they've got going. And in turn, keeping those productions in the Golden State. But you can throw out a big tax credit, all right? But it's everything else. It's everything else. All of your production costs are going to be higher because everything is more expensive in California. Gasoline being one of those things where they got to have their own special blend of gasoline in California. And you've got refineries shutting down. Valero yesterday was one of my podcasts, shutting one of its big refineries down. Your gas is going to go up, more expensive to get stuff to LA. If you're shipping it from another part of wherever to wherever, you got to do that. One of the storylines I saw on this made me laugh. And it was exodus of jobs from Hollywood creating films creates more stress on the environment because now people are flying to wherever to film their films. And so they were trying to make a cause and effect with the downturn in Hollywood is creating a greater pressure on the environment. And you're like, yeah, you know what? That's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. Hollywood has created this. California has created this predicament on their own. And you know what? With a massive, massive budget deficit, I don't think the Hollywood turnaround is going to happen anytime soon. Enough other states, enough other cities have seen the opportunity and seen the money that can be made. And they've said, guess what? We can do this better than California. We can do this better than LA. We can do this better than Hollywood. Screw the Hollywood sign, right? We'll do this better. We'll do this cheaper, more efficiently. And that's exactly what they're doing. And that is exactly, I'm wanting to try and remember, I think it might have been Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, otherwise known as Mark Wahlberg. It's funny, growing up, Marky Mark was not that, he was just coming up. He was just a kid. He's a few years younger than me. And his older brother was, he was the real performer. And then Marky Mark, he's just longtime Hollywood star, producer. I watch a lot of his stuff on Instagram. So this is at a troubling time for Hollywood, with production days and soundstage occupancy collapsing in recent years. And it started with the whole pandemic, and then you had a strike, and people were trying to figure out, okay, where can we go? And they started going down those places. And the way that California shut down during the pandemic, you get what you deserve. You did a crappy job of handling the pandemic. You hid in your homes. And this is what happened. Businesses get crushed and they have a tough time coming back, and people make adjustments and they go film in Texas. Makes sense to me. Here's a little piece from Los Angeles Times. What we lose if Hollywood becomes the Detroit of the entertainment industry. Talking about some movie, the hit buddy comedy, One of Them Days. I don't know who that is, nor do I really care about. Keke Palmer? Okay, and they're talking about some architecture. It's also a reminder of how few successful movies are actually filmed in Los Angeles these days. Despite the fact that the studios and production firms are mostly still headquartered in Los Angeles, including Sony Pictures, its TriStar unit, and Charles D. King's Macro, the company's responsible for One of Them Days. Southern California's entertainment economy has taken a beating over the last few years. COVID-19 pandemic, 2 overlapping labor strikes, those were brutal. So this has been a years-long deal that's gotten us here. And the pullback of overspending during the streaming wars, because we had all that, the big production companies were trying to figure out, which way do we go here? What do we do? What's the content? What's happening? What are we doing? Compounded a structural problem for the movie business hometown. It costs too much to film here. That's what I was saying earlier. It's too expensive. And you're not going to make California more cheap. No matter what the incentives are, you're not going to make it cheap enough, I don't think, in my opinion, as a real estate guy analyzing the business of Hollywood. You're not going to turn that around anytime soon, if ever. Film and TV shoots have fled for cheaper locales enticed by generous tax incentives offered by rival states and countries. We've got some of the same thing going on here in the Pacific Northwest. Seattle isn't a big destination for shooting films. But we've got some. Over the years, we've had, some hits. Sleepless in Seattle. And I drive by that houseboat all the time. And, there it is. There's the Sleepless in Seattle. Vancouver, BC, got more films being made there, right? Because of the tax incentive thing. So those threats have existed for a long time, talking about cheaper locales, but have lately tipped over into what some public officials now recognize as crisis territory. It's gone from concern to crisis. Is LA going to become the next Detroit? No, it's not, because LA has more industry than making films. But it's a big industry. And you're going to see a lot of this because these people are all worked up about, we're not making movies here anymore. I personally don't really give a rat's ass about Hollywood because I don't watch any of the movies anymore. I don't watch any of the new movies. Invariably, I will look at titles at my local movie theater, and I have been to one movie in a movie theater since the pandemic. Uno. And it was a movie about the origins of Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page, John Paul Jones. Yeah. Robert Plant, John Bonzo Bonham. I mean, that's a movie right there. That's a movie about Led Zeppelin. You betcha. I can't remember what it was called. It's that most recent one. Saw it in the IMAX theater. It was epic. It was really cool to see. But most other movies, they're so woke that I just don't care. I think they're terrible. I think they're horrific. They're terrible, terrible pieces of entertainment. And yet people are like, it's the greatest thing ever. And I'm like, no, that's a piece of crap movie. Oh, you're just old. Yeah, I don't care. You know what I mean? Recent survey of executives by production tracking firm Prod Pro, I'm going a little prodding and do it in a professional manner, ranked the most desired places to shoot. California ranked 6th, bested by Toronto, the UK, Vancouver, BC, Central Europe, and Australia. Hey, we could do it more cheap if we fly to Australia. Let's fly to Perth because they give us bigger tax breaks. And aside from all that carbon emission stuff, flying wherever 1,000 miles there, however many 1,000 miles there, it's still going to be cheaper. And that was the conversation that I heard on a podcast, and I can't remember who it was. It might have been Marky Mark. It could have been, who knows? It was one of those guys. And you're like, that's just, you go all that way and it's still cheaper? man, California must be really expensive to make a movie. And the answer is, it is. Devastation from the wildfires, which destroyed the homes of many in the industry. You can tell this is the LA Times, right? Both above and below the line might be the last straw for some workers considering taking their talents elsewhere. All right. Yeah, I'm just talking about an industry here. The end result of this industry is they need to turn their movie making around. Not so many cartoons. Those are ridiculous. Go back to old school films. Who was it? Somebody was quoting The Untouchables. Quoting Sean Connery in The Untouchables. And you know the line. And I'm like, yeah, that was a great movie. But how about, what was it? Snow White? I mean, the crap that Hollywood is putting out. I'm just on an old man tirade right now, right? Everything's terrible. The fires, in fact, underlined the lack of activity in LA. It was relatively easy to find TV productions that were at least briefly shut down by the disaster, such as NCIS, Hacks, and Abbott Elementary. Briefly shut down. Okay. Because you just don't have that many going on in California. 3 months out of the last 18 months, the woman was talking about. Those are not, how much have you worked? Not a lot. The struggles aren't solely due to high costs of doing work in Los Angeles. Globally, the number of film and TV productions starting principal photography in 2024 still lagged 11% behind the pre-strike year of 2022, suggesting that an overall retrenchment is largely to blame for the sluggish recovery. And you're making crappy movies. Make some better movies. People will go see it. Your numbers will be better. Incentive. Then you got to work on the cost of doing business in LA. And good luck there, right? Good luck there. But it's clear that when production is coming back, it's mostly doing so elsewhere. Couldn't happen to a nicer city, right? LA, California has so many things going sideways right now, but it has for a long time. So this notion that California is no longer competitive. Look at the amount of population that has exited California. Look at the number of businesses that have left. Remember during the pandemic, almost every single day, you had a major company that was moving to Florida, moving to Texas, moving to Washington State. We picked up a handful. Because believe it or not, as liberal as Washington State is, we're still not nearly as bad as the state of California. We have fewer homeless people. What do we have? Oh, was it the sixth worst? Either the sixth or the ninth most dangerous metro in the country here in King County. Is there any quick turnaround for this? Absolutely not. $750 million or whatever it was, tax incentive, not going to do it. You're just throwing more money at something that isn't going to turn around anytime soon because folks know the overall direction is away from California right now. And when you have leaders like Mayor Bass and Governor gruesome Newsom, some of you refer to him as Governor Brillcream. I mean, I find those, both hilarious and and kind of making fun of him, but he deserves it, right? These folks deserve everything they get. Couldn't happen to a nicer city. Yada, 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 yada. Don't expect this to turn around anytime soon because it's something based on economics. And California is not going in the right direction with their economics. So make sure you're subscribed, do all that good stuff, and I'll have more stories like this coming your way. Thanks again for being here. Catch up in the next one. Bye for now.